kasih. Tiga Revan ya berarti ya. Oke. And the reply would be Azara. Okay, from proposition team we have Kalimantan Selatan, Karinina as first speaker, second speaker is Ahtar, third Karin, and reply would be brought by Karenina. On opposition we have Maluku, Azahra as first speaker, second speaker would be Rocky, and third would be Revan, and reply would be delivered by Azahra. My name is Axel Oktarino Chandra, I am the chairperson of this round, and I'm going to let my my trainees to also introduce themselves.
Okay, my name is Rizky Zurida from Aceh.
And me, Memfaira Farudin from Sulawesi Barat.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh yeah, Axel Oktarino Chandra from Jawa Barat. So I think without further ado, we can start the round. Good luck everyone for the round. We're calling upon Prime Minister to start the case. Thank you.
Hello, sorry. Okay. The time. Sorry, there's a time. Okay. I'll start in 3, 2, and 1. Children doesn't come directly with the ability to process what is going on in the world, neither do they come with the understandings that relies on the specific topic that we talk about. This includes emotions that we consider humane, a natural human trait. This looks like A, emotional awareness, and then B, emotional regulation. Under specifically emotional regulation, there are many ways for humans to actually process the emotions that they're going through. Note that it's not that we demonize the action or the principle of processing emotions directly. Said proposition heavily prioritize and set burden on parents that it is very important to pay attention more to the act of teaching their children emotional regulation, which will lead to emotional resilience, which our goal has on the manifestation of a world where actors, which is the children that we prioritize, would be emotionally resilient at the end of the day. A few models of setup in this debate then. Firstly, why a parent's role is important, therefore we specifically urge and target parents to do this prioritization. But then secondly, the comparative of being emotionally resilient and emotionally vulnerable and why side propositions benefit will be more significant. But then thirdly, how this will look like under our world. This will then falls under the crystallization of my setup. If opposition says that proposition is impatiently evil parents as to where they are saying that, oh, we're urging children to be more mature before they could experience emotions, oh, we're urging children to be ready for the world even before they could grow up. This is simply assumptive. Our frame is that we have a set age, we will set a age of specification where children would likely to be ready for them, like in the situation of, for example, where children are going under puberty, where children are going to the age of teenager. It's not that we force them to be emotionally resilient and to teach them how to regulate their emotions well from since they're a baby, but it's not that. But then, therefore, opposition will mitigate the burden that we'll set, which is how their further mitigation of how being emotionally vulnerable and the harms that it will come, because it simply is the act of denying the action of regulating your own emotions and letting your emotions feel all the way truly without the act of mitigation. But then, how this will also become something that is emotionally vulnerable, how this emotionally vulnerable thing will also become something that is in line with the interests of parents under the world who actually wants the best for their child. First issue from the side proposition then, why emotionally resilient has to be prioritized. The premise of this is simple. What this prioritization is defined by when it's applied to the role of parents. Parents are naturally and generally believes that they need to provide the best for the children, a balance between preparing them and also recognizing them. This looks like a mom who wants the best for their son. She recognizes the emotion and teaches how to understand him what's happening. It's not dismissal. So if there's any assumption or assert about our side being dismissal, just because we simply teach you to believe that emotional regulation is an important thing, it's simply not happening because it still falls under our side. Therefore, we actually have two things under our side, which is the recognition of emotion, making them feeling more aware, but then also teaching them a solution to come with it, which is how we teach them to regulate the emotion. But then, what is actually happening? What's actually happening is in the status quo, there are a lot of parents who actually lack the importance to prioritize the teaching of emotional regulation, realize that parents are less likely to actually not even less likely to be more aware of their emotions. Therefore, we urge them to prioritize being emotionally resilient, because not only that, it could also provide them to teach their children how to regulate later, but then it also teaches them how to become more aware. Therefore, they provide a solution to regulate. Therefore, our side actually has the two benefits, which falls under our side then. But then, what do we actually want by this, and why do we urge you to change the status quo? We want balance. A balance is what's actually important for parents. Well, you need to understand and validate your children, but you shouldn't actually stop here. You should also teach them how to prepare themselves for the world and for the society. Now let's prove to why this should be the focus for the urge of the prioritization. If we focus to this then, the parents' role actually is something that had a huge impact on the children. This is why we prioritize specifically the actions of parents to teach emotional regulation to the children. Generally, parents are also the biggest influence of the front, or basically the front forces of the children. That's why it looks like in the real life, it may look like in the real life where a person's personality or even issues roots from the parents, but this is not the frame of this debate that we talk about. But it's simply as an example. This could also look like how you would hear someone say, "Oh, my mom teaches me this, my dad teaches me how to not swallow a screwdriver." Therefore, it is likely promised to have a big significance on their children. But then, why specifically emotionally resilience? We've told you that parents want better for their kid, and this is likely bound to happen. If we link this back to the characteristic of a parent, therefore, by quick overview, parents would just want the best for their children. Parents would want the best for their children. They would want them to be prepared and ready. They would want them to be capable, yes.
You would mean that you would do more for one than the other. That is from me. Thank you very much.
Realize that the word of prioritization, it doesn't mean that directly extinguishing the other one by prioritization, especially heavy. We simply prioritize the existence of regulating the emotion. It does not mean that we would not care about the emotional awareness. It just means that we push it even more, specifically when the burden of the motion of the proposition was to prove why a parent should specifically prioritize the act of emotionally burdening. But then, coming back to my case, they're to come in the near future. But yeah, this wins the way of how we should urge to prioritize the parents, because they're the biggest influence of the kid, if we link it back, because they're the first to come in their kid's life before the environment could come. So this proves how a parent is actually something that important for us to urge the emotional regulation thing to happen. But then, we'll talk about how this comparative will then be better under proposition. Therefore, we conclude the first issue of the side. Second issue of the debate then, why emotionally resilient is generally a better thing. The premise of this is simple. Being able to manage and regulate your emotion is an important trait to have, especially when joining or to exist as someone in the society in general. This looks like how you won't be having random mental breakdown, for example, in this debate to undergo certain situations. This would look like how I'm actually not screaming in this debate, but actually regulating my emotions, and this would further happen if the manifestations of our side is bound to happen. A few reasons to also back this up then. Firstly, you're capable of being aware within your emotions. You actually know what you feel. It's not that, we've said to you that it's not that we extinct the awareness, it's just that we do realize how we feel. It's not that we would let it consume our side fully, consume ourselves fully, which will happen under your side, right? The oppositions may look like how, proposition is not caring about the feelings of a true human. Proposition is not letting humans to feel vulnerable. It's inhumane for them to force people to look like robots, to be AI who want to simply be a perfect human with emotion. But it's not that. It's simply that we want to mitigate further long-term impacts that will harm you. Like, for example, when emotional vulnerability actually consume you in a situation where it doesn't need to consume you, for example, in a situation. And this looks like a harm that could happen, which needs to be further mitigated. But then this one happened under our side when our first issue is already manifested. As to how, it was already taught by our parents back then. It was generally prioritized for them to teach for us to regulate our emotions well. Therefore, the manifestation of a world where kids are more emotionally resilient with themselves. Therefore, this leads to a world where people in the real world are more resilient. are more resilient and capable of regulating their emotions, this proves that they're a proper functioning human in the society that is not only aware but also solutive to the problems that they have. Therefore, we actually win in this debate. Vote for our proposition.
Okay, thank you so much, Prime Minister. Just a friendly reminder for POI, you only have 15 seconds. After 15 seconds, I'm going to call you out. You have to sit down. So make it count. Do not take too long when you're offering POI. So yeah, thank you so much, Prime Minister. With your opposition, you pursue your case.
Am I audible? Yes. I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panels, our motion today is a really critical thing that happened in nowadays. It's about emotion and about parenting in nowadays. There's a lot of cases where emotion and parenting is always it's always a conflict between us and our parents. There's a lot of parents that saying that their children their children never show their emotion and also never open their heart and never share all of their story to their parents. The reason is because they didn't know how to show their emotion. And with this motion is this house belief that parents should heavily prioritize teaching their child to be emotional resilient and emotional vulnerable is a really great and it's a really crucial thing to talk about. And as the opposition side of the house, we strongly disagree with this motion that's saying that we should prioritize emotional resilient more than the emotionally vulnerable. As the opposition side of the house, we believe that both of them should be applied equally. Why? Because, of course, this motion isn't always talk about the children. Of course, we have to talk about the parents and the society also. The benefits of the people who should get the benefits from this motion is not just the children, but their parents also and also the society. That's why, as the opposition side of the house, we strongly disagree that the parents should prioritize one over another because both of that have their own faces for their children and also for the well-being of the children, the parents, and also the society. As before we move to my arguments, let me give my rebuttals to the Prime Minister of the proposition side of the House. First of all, the first speaker state that emotional resilience help parents to teach their children to regulate their emotion. However, how you will control and stay calm on your own emotion if you're not get to teach how to show it or how to embrace. For example, like this is a very different thing. We cannot just, as the children, we cannot just know how to show our emotional on ourselves. Of course, someone have to let us, like our parents maybe, when they see us get upset, they will the only thing that they should do is they should let us to embrace our own emotion by letting go our sadness, for example, or our happiness. It is a really important step that the parents should be apply for their children, because it really shows the children how to show their emotion before how to control it. So they should know how to show it, and then they will know how to control their emotion. And panels, I will have 3 arguments that I will deliver today. First, parents should be concerned to apply the method to their children equally without prioritize this one. Second, by concern about both of that, we could decrease the number of mentally unstable teens. And the third, it shows the parents' responsibility. Move to my very first argument is parents should be concerned to apply the method to their children equally without prioritize this one. Panels, emotional resilience and emotional vulnerability is the thing that should be equally in our life. But we should really, as a parents, the parents should be the parents should be teach it equally, so the children could have their own well-being by show or embrace their emotion, and after that they could control it, as I was stated before. We talk in here about the phases that the children got. It is a preteen and also teens. A preteens that we talk in here, maybe it included also, for example, I will take the example from toddlers. We know toddlers, like they have various emotions that comes, like they will cry over a candy or a snacks, and if their parents told them to hold it or to stay calm or to control the emotion, they will not they won't know how they will express their own emotion. Like they will not know when should I be sad. They will not know when people will know they are sad. So when they are grew up, they will be a person that have a burden on their feelings. And after we apply the method of the emotional vulnerability on the preteens that I will talk before, next step is the teens phases, where the problem of the teens is various. There's a lot of complicated problems that they will face. That's why if they know how to show it, they will know how to control it. We could teach them how to control their own emotion by telling them that this is the way to control their emotions, so they won't be aggressive. If they could embrace their emotion, and slowly we will teach them how to stay calm. You could be stay calm in the situation, like the situation that makes you mad or etc. We could the parents could teach them. Yes.
We told you that we'll set an age specification and a specific range as to where they start to learn emotional resilience. So we think picturing us as evil to the toddlers is unlikely to happen.
I'll answer to your PI later. Move to my second argument is, by concern about both of them, we could decrease the number of mentally unstable teens. Panels, as we know, in nowadays, there's a lot of cases about mentally unstable teens. There's a lot of depressed teens and etc. It shows that they could be like that because they don't know how to embrace their own emotion. They tend to hide it, and they tend to have a burden in their heart about their emotion, burden of the emotion. It is really a crucial thing because the burden of emotion, this could cause a huge conflict between one and another, because if they have a burden of emotion, this could lead to a big conflict. When they are letting all their emotion out, it will be really huge conflict because the burden of emotion will be out in any seconds, and there will be a huge conflict. That's why it's really help us to do it equally to decrease the number of mentally unstable teens, which is a really crucial thing right now. There's a lot of teenagers that has mental health problem and etc. We could decrease it to be the well-being of our society. And move to my last arguments is show the parents' responsibility. Panels, as we know, emotional vulnerability and emotional resilience is the responsible of the parents, not just not just the children. The parents should take action in this. That's why if we do it equally, it really helps it really helps the parents to get their responsibility, because sometimes when people get a lot of conflict, the parents will be the one that get wronged, and it is showed that the parents should take more responsibility by equally doing the emotional resilience and emotionally vulnerable, so there will not be any conflict about the burden of emotions. That's why with the opposition team, we really declare that we were proud to oppose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leader of Opposition. DP second prop, you might cross the floor.
panel judges, they're trying to frame that children are emotionally unavailable since day one. There's the assumption that every kids tend to be emotionally unavailable since they are kids, in which they clearly stated by saying that every kid are not open to their parent or are not emotionally expressionist towards their parent is highly subjective and depending on the situation. The truth is there are also a lot of parents or a lot of family that are already open since day one. They are already talks about how they feel. They already talks about how they are, and they are already have the family dynamics in which they are able to openly express their emotions and their needs emotionally. But here in our debate today, we argue about which one is more important to teach from they were kids for the better future. Us as parents, we need to teach them what they need in the future. Now, they talk about how they're trying to frame that children are emotionally unavailable since day one. Like I said, like they don't cry, but they eventually stated, later, they are, and then they suddenly stated that they are, at the end of the day, they will cry, and then, which is kind of, I guess, not correlating, but that is far from the truth. But here, we do not prohibit, and we also do not condone, we do not also disallow emotional vulnerability, blah, blah, blah. But we teach them for their future that, sure, you can be vulnerable, you can be open to your expression, but it's also important for us, it is also urgent for you, for the future, to be able to be resilient towards highly stressful situation, to be able to feel calm, to be able to face stressful situation calmly and also maturely. We're not saying that we will completely suppress one's emotion and then suddenly teach them about emotion resilience. They also do not understand, I think they do not understand, or they do not understand the difference between emotionally unavailable in contrast to emotionally resilient. Emotionally unavailable is the inability to show emotions in which they cannot express that they are sad, they cannot express that they are mad, they cannot express that they are happy. But our side, emotional resilience, by definition, is the ability that they are able to show emotion, they are able to feel happy, they are able to feel sad, they are able to feel anger, but they are able to stay calm, they are able to stay, yes?
We did not say that children will not understand their emotion and become like robots or emotionally unavailable. What we're saying is that there are different phases, and when we are younger, it is actually harder for children to understand, to control their emotion. Therefore, when they are younger, it is better to allow their emotion.
When we said about the emotional unavailable, you trying to frame in your argument yourself, you're trying to frame that our program of trying to put our kids into emotional resilience lessons are trying to be, for them to be more emotionally unavailable, in which is far from the truth. We understand that there are stages towards towards kids' growth. There are the observation phase, there are the imitating phase, in which we understand that there are phases in which which is why we're not saying that we're going to teach them from day one. We're not going to teach them from babies that, oh yeah, you cannot, you need to stay calm, you shut up, don't cry like that. We're not saying that. We're talking about how when they are facing problems, they are able to face these problems efficiently. They also talk about how mentally unstable teens are possible on our side. But the thing is that the mentally unstable teens are actually far more likely on their side. Why? Because we teach them vulnerability, we teach them that, oh yeah, it's okay to be sad, then they think that everything that is sad, everything that emotionally triggers them are able to be expressed, which is why I will later talk in my argument in which I already mitigated this. Onto my first argument, in which why parents' role and job is to prepare kids for the future. Emotions are an important part of human social abilities, such as socializing. Being able to hold emotionally and being mature is part of an important human decency in the adulthood. Since parents are considered as kids' first teacher and also those who plays a big role in the kids' future's path, we think that prioritizing emotional resilience in comparison to emotional vulnerability are far more important and urgent. First subtopic to this is how it will prepare kids for the future or for the adulthood. First, we want to clarify that emotional resilience doesn't mean that this individual, we as parents are in this individual are unable or are prohibited to show emotions. Emotional resilience is the ability to hold one's anger, sadness, and staying calm in dramatic or stressful situations, in which connects to our first subtopic. Let's see how adulthood. Let's picturize how adulthood looks like. They are far more individualistic. They faces a lot of stressful situations, even at the age of pre-adulthood, 18 to 20, where you started to see and started to feel things. You started to face problems that are far more stressful, in which emotional resilience is a big factor or a big factor skills to keep our to teach our kids to keep in which they like, for example, when they face a scriptsy, they are able to feel calm. Why being calm is important? First is how being calm, being able to find a solution. Being in the state of calm, you're able to brainstorm ideas. In comparison to being emotional, your head is busy with all the things, with all the stress, in which what we do not want for our kids. And secondly, it's also how being calm, also being able to reflect on your problem and act upon them calmly and maturely. These factors and reasoning are why resilience is an important factor for kids. Us as parents, we have the role to shape our kids to face problems and highly emotional situations. How does this compare to the opposition stance? We agree that emotional vulnerability is important. We agree kids should be able to express emotions. But we disagree in what to prioritize first and what to prioritize in teaching them. On our side, emotional vulnerability is still available. We do not prohibit our kids to show expression, to show vulnerability, in which openness is still available on our side. What we do here is to teach them to be independent towards themselves. What does this compare? Emotional vulnerability teaches kids to be more open. Yes, we understand. That's true. But also dependent towards people emotionally. Why is this from the truth? Why is this the hard truth is that why is this bad, being emotionally dependent? The truth is not everyone stays. They can leave, they can die, they could go anywhere, which is why this is bad. Why? Because when people leave you, you fall into a state of depression. Since your emotions are tied to that person, it increases loneliness, gloom, or even depression. And how does our side prevent this? Our side teaches the cold hard truth, in which at the end of the day we only have ourselves. In which why it is urgent for us to teach our kids to be independent and to be more resilient in order for them to be prepared in the future path. Now, on second argument, in which how does this impact well-being and socially around you? When you are resilient, you are also becoming more mature and more acceptant towards stressful situation. We teach our kids to be far more independent and mature towards stressful situation. Why this affects socially? When you are mature, you are likely to be liked or by your surrounding. Being able to stay calm in stressful situation is a leadership skill set, in which puts you in a position of positive view. In contrast, if you are always triggered over small things, just because you are validated from your younger age, your emotional, no thank you, being over all things, you're seen as sensitive. Worst case, you're even called spoiled, in which people are taught interactions. But our side, when we teach them to be more mature, there are going to be a lot more common in which personalities that people are tend to like.
Order.
Okay, that is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Second prop, second up, you're up next. Is everything okay? Mah. Oke. Kita tunggu dulu, berarti ngambil obat ya sekarang. Oke. Duduk dulu aja nggak apa.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul. Sehingga Atma Jaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJY are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity.
Thank you very much, the honorable judges, our esteemed audience, and also our respected partners from the proposition team. I, now as the second speaker, will then continue our argument as the opposing team from our first speaker and also be stating our own rebuttal to the proposition team. First of all, the first speakers state that the emotional resilience help parents to teach their children to regulate their emotion. However, as the opposition team, we would say that showing our emotion can also teach them to regulate their emotion. Here, we are not saying that by teaching them to show their emotion, they will then often show their emotion and then become a sensitive person or an emotional person. No, we are saying to teach them equally, to know when to be resilient and also when to show their emotion. We are not saying to prioritize being emotionally vulnerable more than resilience. However, we are saying to equalize them, not focusing on one thing or the other. Also, as stated by the first speaker of the proposition team, doing the method equally does not mean that we make assumption of evil parents and etc. It's just that we show which was the right thing to do. And here we want to heavily disagree on that. The reason why is because the motion clearly states to prioritize resilience over emotional vulnerable. And by definition, prioritizing is showing more to one thing than the other. Therefore, because it is more than something, it is not equal, it is not balanced. Saying that they will teach balance, but they are in a proposition team which agrees on the motion that says prioritize, means that they are directly contradicting themselves because they are saying about balance. However, the motion says prioritize, which is not balanced because it is more. As you state that the parents already show them how to tell their emotion is a good sign. We would say that, again, back to the phases, there are two phases. When we were still kids and are very young, oftentimes children are not capable of fully understanding. Sure, we can teach them to be resilient, we can teach them to be calm at times, but does that mean that they will always be like that? By continue to focus on this specific teaching, children will actually become very silent and end up being isolated. They will then rarely show their emotion and end up making this emotion piled up. When they are piling this emotion, the moment they show it can actually come out as a form of rage, either physically or verbally. Therefore, our argument is that we should not be focusing on one thing over the other, but rather to focus to maintain our teaching so that children understand when to be emotionally resilient on important moments, but also when to be relieved and just show their emotion, as we are a social being, and showing our emotion is one way of going to grow as a person. Listen, being emotionally vulnerable isn't necessarily bad when we know when to be emotional. It is not a state that we have to be in all the time, nor is resilience. We should not be resilient and stay calm all the time, therefore disregarding the event that happened to us. Sometimes when the event is desired and it is a big event, it is okay for us to understand that and then showing our emotion. By showing our emotion, we can then understand the situation that we're actually in, and then understand why we are in that situation, why we are behaving as such, and then learn from that experience. That is all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, second op, for that speech. Third prop, you're up next.
Test. Am I audible? Okay. Parents, panels, I would like to thank my parents to teach me how to be emotionally resilient, because without being taught on how to be emotionally resilient, I wouldn't be standing here calmly stating my clashes and my speech, because I know when to panic and when to stay calm. Now, first of all, I want to reframe on what the government team is saying. First of all, they said that we are contradicting ourselves on how about the balances, but understand that they have misunderstood on how we propose this balance thing, because we said, my first speaker has already said, this balance actually comes from the parents. It doesn't mean that we teach the children to be balancing of the emotionally vulnerable or emotionally resilient. Now that should clear up the thing that their rebuttal about us contradicting ourselves. Now, first of all, let's take the red string of both parties has offered. The government team believes that emotional resilience would lead to a better emotional regulation, and the opposition team red string is on how they would want to balance out the emotional resilience and the emotional vulnerability. Now, I'm going to elaborate more on how their mechanism on balancing these two mechanisms of emotional regulation are just wasting time in their side. No, panels. The tipping point of this debate should be given to the government team, because the government team has clearly stated on how the mechanism of teaching this our children this emotional resilience is not evil, and the government team has stated on how it will give us a better impact for the children's future. And let's get to my first issues. My first issues for today is on how the emotional regulations look like in both parties. Now, panels, the opposition team, they want both emotional vulnerability and emotional resilience, because they believe that children have important phases that they believe will help to embrace their emotions by letting them to express themselves, and then show their children on how to control them. But understand that this is the prerequisite on how we the government team would teach our children this emotional resilience. And understand that the government team has clearly stated on how we have put it in our mechanism on how we don't enforce it to our children when they are still toddlers, for example. We just want them to gradually grow and gradually learn on how to manage their emotional feelings. And the government team, in the government side, we teach the awareness and the emotional regulation. First, I'm going to give you a clearer mechanism of what my first and second speaker has already given. We can take example from the method of parenting that is rising right now, gentle parenting. Gentle parenting, they teach children to not suppress their feeling and teach their children on how to regulate their emotions better. And understand that this gentle parenting is being done on when their children are still a baby. It's okay that it's still okay in our side if our toddlers are crying. It doesn't mean that we are suppressing their feelings. It doesn't mean that we are going to get mad when they get sad or overstimulated, for example. But we teach our children on how they will on how they should calm themselves and how they will regulate their emotions and to not suppress their feeling and teach their children on how to regulate their emotions better. Now, this has come to a better impact that has been given up by my second speaker on how the adulthood will look like and how this emotional resilience would prepare the kids for the future. But on how we already told you about how adulthood would look like. Adulthood, people would be more individualistic and people are not dependent on each other. But understand that on the prerequisite of people to be not dependent to each other is to how they would be independent to manage or control their emotions by themselves. It means that the children in the government side, they would be more dependent on how oh, I'm going to stay calm for now and I'm not going to blow out like in the middle of the room where people are doing their own business, and I'm going to just stay calm for now, and I'm going to let out my emotions later, and to the person who are who we can trust and can help us regulate our emotions. Now, panels, we can't really mitigate on the opposition team because they lack the mechanism on how to mitigate this emotional vulnerability to the in the future, and understand that the government team has clearly stated on how it will help to prepare our kids to the future, and how we will not the suppressing emotions is not going to be the enforcement of suppressing the emotion is not going to happen in the government side. Now, panels, let's compare which one suits the capability and gives the better impact to the actor. Now, the government team, we have stated on how it will make our children to become a better emotionally regulated person, and how it will help on the family dynamics, because it means that their children are going to be more close, and the likelihood of the children to be blowing up like in the middle of nowhere is going to be less likely in our side, because in our side we regulate and we process the emotional feeling. It doesn't mean that we suppress it or we just extinguishing the emotions of our children, and that seems to be what the opposition teams think that we are proposing. But understand that that is not true. We, the government team, we would want to make our children to process their emotion and to make our children to know which one is which one that can make them think of it to themselves, and which one should be talked about to other people. Now, it is exclusive in our side, because in the opposition team they don't have we think that by giving this balance of emotional vulnerability and emotional resilience has been won by the government team, because in our team we still have this emotional vulnerability, but it was on the very first thing. Okay, that is it for my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, third op, you're up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, the honorable judges, the esteemed audience, and our respected partners from the proposition team. I, as the third speaker of the opposition team, will then summarize this debate, but so allow me to first rebut a few arguments from the proposition team. The first being, just because they prioritize resilience over vulnerability does not mean that they do not teach children to show their emotion. My rebuttal for this argument is that we straight up cannot prioritize one over the other. By prioritizing one, it shows that you do care for one more than the other, whether you fully mean it or not. Again, by prioritizing, as definition, you do care more for one than the other, and therefore care less of the other one than the main one that you are prioritizing. Another part of our argument, and why we want to rebuke the third speaker saying that the government has shown better detail as to why they can win this debate, is because of the flow and the timeline that has been given by all of the speakers from the proposition team. As the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, or the second speaker of the proposition team, didn't actually give a clear red thread through their argument, showing that their timeline can be all over the place at times. As the second speaker of the proposition team clearly state that their argument is not teaching resilience from day one. However, their first speaker actually contradicts this by saying that they will teach children by prioritizing resilience from day one. Also, the third speaker and also the second speaker have said about our argument of teaching children to be emotionally intelligent actually can make children blow out and then show their emotion at public places, therefore unable to control them. However, this is not our argument at all. Our argument is not to then show our emotion all the time. As stated from our first speaker and then our second speaker, our argument and our main argument has always been to teach them equally. The third speaker said that by teaching them to be showing their emotion, children would then just end up blowing out their emotion, and it is going to be a likely event that they will show their emotion in the middle of the room, showing their emotion through a lot of people. However, again, as we clearly state, we teach them to know when to show this emotion. We do not teach them to just be emotional all the time. We are not a modern parent that would always be gentle to every situation. We know when to not allow children to do certain things. We know when to not allow them to just blow all the time, showing that they fully did not understand our argument, as they keep on saying that our argument actually end up making children more soft because of the soft parenting that will then make them again blow out. And that is just straight up not our argument. Also, the proposition side at the house keeps saying that the resilient teach children to ready for the future. But how about embracing emotion? Letting go of the emotion, children should get a first step to it in order for them to actually let go and understand. By focusing to always be resilient all the time, not being able to have many experience of actually showing their emotion will actually make it worse for them to understand how to control and regulate their emotion. Therefore, I will say that, thank you very much.
We never stated that the first speaker stated that it will be teach from day one, when we consistently state that we'll teach them when they're ready. So you're simply assumptive.
I am not assumptive, as I have here clearly from the first speaker, they did say that we will teach from day one. So you will just straight up ignoring your own first speaker's statement, as that is what I heard. Now, continuing my statement, I will then say that, again, teaching children to be emotional can actually help them to regulate and understand the situation that they are in. We are not teaching them to be sensitive all the time. That is straight up not our argument. Now, to summarize our own debate, children who are taught to stay calm and silent and will end up actually piling their emotion, as said by our second speaker, struggling to control this emotion, meaning that once they express it, they will not be able to fully control it because the experience of actually showing emotion is rarer, since they are focusing on to keeping it silent. We understand that they are saying to focus on one but still caring about the other. However, again, as I've stated in the beginning of my speech, as parents, we straight up cannot teach this. A better way to teach children is to teach them equally, especially for children at the present stage who are unable to fully understand and control their emotion yet. When they are kids, it is just straight up harder for them to understand and actually hold back. That's why they can cry over little things. But when they reach teenage stage, they can actually be more understanding, and therefore at that time we can then teach them to be resilient. Again, showing that our argument is not against teaching resilience at all. We will be teaching it, but we are not prioritizing it. At teenage years, they will actually be more understanding, and some teenage would actually even act like adults and actually know how to control the emotion very well. However, most teenagers can actually end up becoming more unpredictable and end up isolating themselves for various different reasons. So, our argument is that there are a set age of different children and their behavior, no thank you, and this behavior obviously differs from every person. And our argument as to why we are winning this debate is that we show a clear line and timeline of first speaker, second speaker, and third speaker who are all talking about the same connected thing without contradiction. Showing that there's always balance when teaching children, and prioritizing one over the other is not a good thing. And that is all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Third up reply, you're up next. Azara? Yeah. Up reply goes first.
Okay. I would like to start my reply speech in 3, 2, 1. Panels, to begin my reply speech, I would like to state that the opposition side of the House should be the winner of this debate. Why? Because first, our team or the opposition side of the House provide real situation which we already bring the argument about the real situation in our daily life. We didn't take immediately the big circle, but we take the small circle around us, which is the environment around us that related to the mentally unstable teens that I was stated before, and also about the well-being of the parents and also the children. This is a really real situation that we talk about. We talk about the real situation that happened in a small circle, which is the environment around us. And the second is we give benefits to every people. The opposition side of the House, are really concerned in this motion about every aspects, the society, the parents, and also the children. We make sure that not just the children get the benefit or the well-being, but we also provide the well-being and the benefit from the children, parents, of course, and also the society that will face the children and parents. This is a really great thing that we provide, because seeing from every side is really a big matter for us. We should know how this motion impact to every aspect, like the children, the parents, and also the environment that they lived on. And also, the third is we provide realistic and reliable reasoning. We provide why we choose the argument and why we choose the statement that we want this equally. We sure and we give the real realistic and reliable reasoning where, as I was stated before, the real situation makes us have the realistic and the reliable reasoning to give and to convince everyone that this method should be doing equally by the parents, by the parents to have their parenting. And also, about the proposition side of the House, the arguments between The first and second speaker, so the first or the prime minister and the deputy minister of the proposition team didn't bring the red thread well, because we didn't get the goal of their proposed, and also they didn't get fully aspects that we didn't get beside the goal of their proposed. We also didn't get the every aspects that we need, like we didn't fully get the aspects that we need, like the environment, because the environment also faces the burden of emotion of other people. That's why with this we could compare from opposition side of the house and proposition side of the house. That's why, to close this, I will really proud, and I will state and I declare that the opposition side of the house should win this debate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Op Reply. To close the debate, Prop Reply, you're up next.
I'll start. Let's go back to the early start. This is a policy motion where both sides will need to bring a proper mechanization as to prove how their stance is comparatively better. But this is not a prefer motion. Note this. This is not a comparative motion, but it's simply stating that prioritization, because the motion says that this House believed that should, meaning that under opposition side, it should have been that parents shouldn't prioritize the fact. This shows in their case, but sadly, unfortunately, it comes in a late matter that they have clarified this, that they have clarified that the parents shouldn't be prioritizing this. But instead, their case that has been going on in the early benches stated otherwise. So therefore, panels shouldn't have been crediting this. But then, let's check it once again. The subject, which is the parents, or in a more debate familiar language, is the actor, is what the motion actually urges. The word should, telling you that this is a policy to tell you that the subject or the parents, which is how the policy is actually depicted on the action, which is to prioritize teaching the children to be emotionally resilient or emotionally vulnerable. The statement explanation were neutralized. Now let's see how it was assigned for both sides. Let's see how it happens under opposition first then. The third came in and brought a late matter, therefore the arguments shouldn't be credited to the panels. But the third did state that the impact of our arguments are picturized by them in our future. This proves that the manifestation of our argument under our side has already been reached in the first place. This proves because how they engaged to our case from the start. But then, what they actually do technically by saying that, oh, the first speaker of the team, whoever that was, have under proposition said that we'll start teaching the children but with day one. You're actually not engaging to our mechanization, because it has been stated multiple times that when we provide you and depict you the mechanization that happens under our side, we told you that these children will be taught whenever they're ready. This also has been brought by a few examples, which is A, when they're going through puberty, or B, another example, which is when they're going through teenagers, or even C, when they actually need it. It's not that we're teaching babies to stop crying. It's not that we're telling babies to, oh, you have to be emotionally debating here right now. It's not that, because that would be the example of how we mechanize the children to actually be taught from day one. But then again, this is a debate about prioritization. We realize that what you contribute to the debate is about balance, right? Let's engage that, unlike how there were unjust, to not engage to the real characterizations of our mechanization then. How balance actually looks like under their side. Whilst balance actually does exist both on proposition and opposition, it actually lies under a different thing. It's not a clash, therefore, it actually lies differently. Whilst balance under proposition looks more like what we push you when we prioritize the parents, we mean by balance is actually the role for the parents to be balanced. That means that we prepare these parents to prioritize telling them to teach, compared to we actually want to balance the fact of the comparative variables in the motion in the first place. But balance in your world looks like how you try to prioritize, and at the same time you want to be emotionally aware. It's not we do recognize that it exists on your side, but it also exists under our side. It's just that we prioritize and urge the parents for it to happen. Therefore, it's still standing from the beginning. Therefore, we should win under proposition.
Okay, thank you so much, Prop Reply. I think that concludes the first round of NSDC 2025. Thank you so much for that round. The debaters might cross floor, shake hands with each other, and wait outside for 15 minutes. I'm going to call you later. Do not go too far. So yeah, thank you so much. Also, observer can also get out of the room. Thank you. Oke, Kak kayaknya bisa di stop rekaman ya kalau misalnya udah ini sih. Karena mau.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul. Sehingga Atma Jaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJY are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity. Excellence implies equality or being better than others. Inclusivity means encompassing all social groups. Humanism, the definition, means to serve the common interest of fellow humans. Integrity means adherence to the moral and ethical principles, honesty, reliability, consistency in words and acts, and a sense of responsibility. UAJY supports diverse values, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, and languages as a university with students from all across Indonesia. UAJY's diversity is an asset for further collaboration and synergy in preparing for a better future.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki 4 kampus yang terbagi menjadi Kampus 1, Gedung Santo Alfonsus. Kampus 2, Gedung Santo Thomas Aquinas. Kampus 3, Gedung Santo Bonaventura. Dan Kampus 4, Gedung Bunda Teresa. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki fakultas dengan berbagai program studi sarjana, program studi magister, dan international undergraduate program.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta is the second home for every individual to develop and share information, and a university with a high-quality education to attain unlimited aspirations and accomplishments. To achieve the goals, UAJY provides classrooms with hybrid learning system, laboratories in each faculty as a room to explore, co-working space as a discussion room, medical personnel who are always available in the university clinic room, and a library that provide books, e-books, and digital libraries to open a wide window onto the world in various ways.
UAJ selalu konsisten memberikan pelayanan yang didasari rasa solidaritas kepada sesama. Selama saya bekerja di UAJ, saya merasakan kekeluargaan yang sangat kuat menjadi dasar bagi seluruh sivitas akademika.
UAJ endeavors to develop graduates who are ethical, creative, innovative, adaptive, transformational, collaborative, and benevolent. All these are aimed to help students achieve their future dreams.
Mendidik itu mengajarkan ilmu pengetahuan dan berbela rasa serta berkontribusi pada kesejahteraan masyarakat. Hal tersebut menjadi landasan fundamental bagi Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta untuk mencetak generasi muda yang unggul di bidangnya dan memiliki integritas moral yang tinggi. Saya bangga menjadi bagian dari Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Viva UAJ, kami bangga ada di sini.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul. Sehingga Atmajaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJ are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity. Excellence implies equality or being better than others. Inclusivity means encompassing all social groups. Humanism, the definition, means to serve the common interest of fellow humans. Integrity means adherence to the moral and ethical principles, honesty, reliability, consistency in words and acts, and a sense of responsibility. UAJ supports diverse values, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, and languages as a university with students from all across Indonesia. UAJ's diversity is an asset for further collaboration and synergy in preparing for a better future.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki 4 kampus yang terbagi menjadi Kampus 1, Gedung Santo Alfonsus. Kampus 2, Gedung Santo Thomas Aquinas. Kampus 3, Gedung Santo Bonaventura. Dan Kampus 4, Gedung Bunda Teresa. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki fakultas dengan berbagai program studi sarjana, program studi magister, dan international undergraduate program.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta is the second home for every individual to develop and share information, and a university with a high-quality education to attain unlimited aspirations and accomplishments. To achieve the goals, UAJ provides classrooms, with hybrid learning system, laboratories in each faculty as a room to explore, co-working space as a discussion room, medical personnel who are always available in the university clinic room, and a library that provide books, e-books, and digital libraries to open a wide window onto the world in various ways.
UAJ selalu konsisten memberikan pelayanan yang didasari rasa solidaritas kepada sesama. Selama saya bekerja di UAJ, saya merasakan kekeluargaan yang sangat kuat menjadi dasar bagi seluruh sivitas akademika.
UAJ endeavors to develop graduates who are ethical, creative, innovative, adaptive, transformational, collaborative, and benevolent. All these are aimed to help students achieve their future dreams.
Mendidik itu mengajarkan ilmu pengetahuan dan berbela rasa serta berkontribusi pada kesejahteraan masyarakat. Hal tersebut menjadi landasan fundamental bagi Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta untuk mencetak generasi muda yang unggul di bidangnya dan memiliki integritas moral yang tinggi. Saya bangga menjadi bagian dari Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Viva UAJ, kami bangga ada di sini.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul, sehingga Atmajaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis, yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJ are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity. Excellence implies equality or being better than others. Inclusivity means encompassing all social groups. Humanism, the definition, means to serve the common interest of fellow humans. Integrity means adherence to the moral and ethical principles, honesty, reliability, consistency in words and acts, and a sense of responsibility. UAJ supports diverse values, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, and languages as a university with students from all across Indonesia. UAJ's diversity is an asset for further collaboration and synergy in preparing for a better future.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki 4 kampus yang terbagi menjadi Kampus 1, Gedung Santo Alfonsus. Kampus 2, Gedung Santo Thomas Aquinas. Kampus 3, Gedung Santo Bonaventura. Dan Kampus 4, Gedung Bunda Teresa. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki fakultas dengan berbagai program studi sarjana, program studi magister, dan international undergraduate program.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta is the second home for every individual to develop and share information, and a university with a high-quality education to attain unlimited aspirations and accomplishments. To achieve the goals, UAJY provides classrooms with hybrid learning system, laboratories in each faculty as a room to explore, co-working space as a discussion room, medical personnel who are always available in the university clinic room, and a library that provide books, e-books, and digital libraries to open a wide window onto the world in various ways.
UAJY selalu konsisten memberikan pelayanan yang didasari rasa solidaritas kepada sesama. Selama saya bekerja di UAJY, saya merasakan kekeluargaan yang sangat kuat menjadi dasar bagi seluruh sivitas akademika.
UAJY endeavors to develop graduates who are ethical, creative, innovative, adaptive, transformational, collaborative, and benevolent. All these are aimed to help students achieve their future dreams.
Mendidik itu mengajarkan ilmu pengetahuan dan berbela rasa serta berkontribusi pada kesejahteraan masyarakat. Hal tersebut menjadi landasan fundamental bagi Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta untuk mencetak generasi muda yang unggul di bidangnya dan memiliki integritas moral yang tinggi. Saya bangga menjadi bagian dari Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Viva UAJY, kami bangga ada di sini.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul. Sehingga Atmajaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJY are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity. Excellence implies equality or being better than others. Inclusivity means encompassing all social groups. Humanism, the definition, means to serve the common interest of fellow humans. Integrity means adherence to the moral and ethical principles, honesty, reliability, consistency in words and acts, and a sense of responsibility. UAJY supports diverse values, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, and languages as a university with students from all across Indonesia. UAJY's diversity is an asset for further collaboration and synergy in preparing for a better future.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki 4 kampus yang terbagi menjadi Kampus 1, Gedung Santo Alfonsus. Kampus 2, Gedung Santo Thomas Aquinas. Kampus 3, Gedung Santo Bonaventura. Dan Kampus 4, Gedung Bunda Teresa. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki fakultas dengan berbagai program studi sarjana, program studi magister, dan international undergraduate program.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta is a second home for every individual to develop and share information. And a university with a high-quality education to attain unlimited aspirations and accomplishments. To achieve the goals, UAJY provides classrooms with hybrid learning system, laboratories in each faculty as a room to explore, co-working space as a discussion room, medical personnel who are always available in the university clinic room, and a library that provide books, e-books, and digital libraries to open a wide window onto the world in various ways.
UAJY selalu konsisten memberikan pelayanan yang didasari rasa solidaritas kepada sesama. Selama saya bekerja di UAJY, saya merasakan kekeluargaan yang sangat kuat menjadi dasar bagi seluruh sivitas akademika.
UAJY endeavors to develop graduates who are ethical, creative, innovative, adaptive, transformational, collaborative, and benevolent. All these are aimed to help students achieve their future dreams.
Mendidik itu mengajarkan ilmu pengetahuan dan berbela rasa serta berkontribusi pada kesejahteraan masyarakat. Hal tersebut menjadi landasan fundamental bagi Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta untuk mencetak generasi muda yang unggul di bidangnya dan memiliki integritas moral yang tinggi. Saya bangga menjadi bagian dari Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Viva UAJY, kami bangga ada di sini.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul. Sehingga Atmajaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJY are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity. Excellence implies a quality or being better than others. Inclusivity means encompassing all social groups. Humanism, the definition, means to serve the common interest of fellow humans. Integrity means adherence to the moral and ethical principles, honesty, reliability, consistency in words and acts, and a sense of responsibility. UAJY supports diverse values, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, and languages as a university with students from all across Indonesia. UAJY's diversity is an asset for further collaboration and synergy in preparing for a better future.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki 4 kampus yang terbagi menjadi Kampus 1, Gedung Santo Alfonsus. Kampus 2, Gedung Santo Thomas Aquinas. Kampus 3, Gedung Santo Bonaventura. Dan Kampus 4, Gedung Bunda Teresa. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki fakultas dengan berbagai program studi sarjana, program studi magister, dan international undergraduate program.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta is a second home for every individual to develop and share information, and a university with a high-quality education to attain unlimited aspirations and accomplishments. To achieve the goals, UAJY provides classrooms with hybrid learning system, laboratories in each faculty as a room to explore, co-working space as a discussion room, medical personnel who are always available in the university clinic room, and a library that provide books, e-books, and digital libraries to open a wide window onto the world in various ways.
UAJY selalu konsisten memberikan pelayanan yang didasari rasa solidaritas kepada sesama. Selama saya bekerja di UAJY, saya merasakan kekeluargaan yang sangat kuat menjadi dasar bagi seluruh sivitas akademika.
UAJY endeavors to develop graduates who are ethical, creative, innovative, adaptive, transformational, collaborative, and benevolent. All these are aimed to help students achieve their future dreams.
Mendidik itu mengajarkan ilmu pengetahuan dan berbela rasa serta berkontribusi pada kesejahteraan masyarakat. Hal tersebut menjadi landasan fundamental bagi Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta untuk mencetak generasi muda yang unggul di bidangnya dan memiliki integritas moral yang tinggi. Saya bangga menjadi bagian dari Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Viva UAJY, kami bangga ada di sini.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul. Sehingga Atmajaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJY are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity. Excellence implies a quality or being better than others. Inclusivity means encompassing all social groups. Humanism, the definition, means to serve the common interest of fellow humans. Integrity means adherence to the moral and ethical principles, honesty, reliability, consistency in words and acts, and a sense of responsibility. UAJY supports diverse values, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, and languages as a university with students from all across Indonesia. UAJY's diversity is an asset for further collaboration and synergy in preparing for a better future.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki 4 kampus yang terbagi menjadi Kampus 1, Gedung Santo Alfonsus. Kampus 2, Gedung Santo Thomas Aquinas. Kampus 3, Gedung Santo Bonaventura. Dan Kampus 4, Gedung Bunda Teresa. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki fakultas dengan berbagai program studi sarjana, program studi magister, dan International Undergraduate Program.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta is the second home for every individual to develop and share information, and a university with a high-quality education to attain unlimited aspirations and accomplishments. To achieve the goals, UAJY provides classrooms with hybrid learning system, laboratories in each faculty as a room to explore, co-working space as a discussion room, medical personnel who are always available in the university clinic room, and a library that provide books, e-books, and digital libraries to open a wide window onto the world in various ways.
UAJY selalu konsisten memberikan pelayanan yang didasari rasa solidaritas kepada sesama. Selama saya bekerja di UAJY, saya merasakan kekeluargaan yang sangat kuat menjadi dasar bagi seluruh sivitas akademika.
UAJY endeavors to develop graduates who are ethical, creative, innovative, adaptive, transformational, collaborative, and benevolent. All these are aimed to help students achieve their future dreams.
Mendidik itu mengajarkan ilmu pengetahuan dan berbela rasa serta berkontribusi pada kesejahteraan masyarakat. Hal tersebut menjadi landasan fundamental bagi Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta untuk mencetak generasi muda yang unggul di bidangnya dan memiliki integritas moral yang tinggi. Saya bangga menjadi bagian dari Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Viva UAJY, kami bangga ada di sini.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul. Sehingga Atmajaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJY are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity. Excellence implies a quality or being better than others. Inclusivity means encompassing all social groups. Humanism, the definition, means to serve the common interest of fellow humans. Integrity means adherence to the moral and ethical principles, honesty, reliability, consistency in words and acts, and a sense of responsibility. UAJY supports diverse values, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, and languages as a university with students from all across Indonesia. UAJY's diversity is an asset for further collaboration and synergy in preparing for a better future.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki 4 kampus yang terbagi menjadi Kampus 1, Gedung Santo Alfonsus. Kampus 2, Gedung Santo Thomas Aquinas. Kampus 3, Gedung Santo Bonaventura. Dan Kampus 4, Gedung Bunda Teresa. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki fakultas dengan berbagai program studi sarjana, program studi magister, dan International Undergraduate Program.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta is the second home for every individual to develop and share information, and a university with a high-quality education to attain unlimited aspirations and accomplishments. To achieve the goals, UAJY provides classrooms with hybrid learning system, laboratories in each faculty as a room to explore, co-working space as a discussion room, medical personnel who are always available in the university clinic room, and a library that provide books, e-books, and digital libraries to open a wide window onto the world in various ways.
UAJY selalu konsisten memberikan pelayanan yang didasari rasa solidaritas kepada sesama. Selama saya bekerja di UAJY, saya merasakan kekeluargaan yang sangat kuat menjadi dasar bagi seluruh sivitas akademika.
UAJY endeavors to develop graduates who are ethical, creative, innovative, adaptive, transformational, collaborative, and benevolent. All these are aimed to help students achieve their future dreams.
Mendidik itu mengajarkan ilmu pengetahuan dan berbela rasa serta berkontribusi pada.
Selamat datang di Gedung Slamet Riyadi, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta dengan bangga menjadi tuan rumah Lomba Debat Indonesia tahun 2025. Ajang yang mempertemukan para pemikir muda terbaik dari SMA seluruh Indonesia. Di sini, gagasan diuji, keberanian diuji, dan logika dipertajam. Kompetisi ini bukan hanya tentang menang, tetapi tentang bagaimana setiap peserta menyuarakan masa depan. Dari Sabang hingga Merauke, para delegasi hadir membawa semangat, budaya, dan harapan. Bersatu dalam satu panggung argumentasi terbesar untuk SMA di Indonesia. Selamat datang di Lomba Debat Indonesia 2025. Siapkan argumen terbaikmu, tunjukkan potensimu, dan jadilah generasi pemikir masa depan.
Cika. Dia telah lulus SMA, tapi bingung mau kuliah di mana.
Jangan bingung, mari bergabung bersama kami di Universitas Atmajaya, Yogyakarta.
UAJY memiliki 7 fakultas dan 14 program studi yang dapat jadi pilihan loh.
Jangan khawatir, UAJY menyediakan miliaran beasiswa yang bisa kamu dapatkan. Tentunya, terdapat program seleksi yang masih dibuka. Informasi lebih lanjut dapat mengunjungi situs pmb.uajy.ac.id. So, tunggu apa lagi?
Bakal nyesel loh kalau nggak daftar sekarang.
Welcome to Yogyakarta, the city of students. The city where a significant number of public and private schools and universities are located. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta, a private university established on September 27, 1965 by Yayasan Slamet Riyadi Yogyakarta.
Dalam bahasa Sanskerta, Atma berarti jiwa dan Jaya berarti unggul. Sehingga Atmajaya berarti jiwa yang unggul. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta juga memiliki semboyan dalam bahasa Latin Serviens in Lumine Veritatis yang artinya melayani dalam cahaya kebenaran.
The four core values upheld by UAJY are excellence, inclusivity, humanism, and integrity. Excellence implies equality or being better than others. Inclusivity means encompassing all social groups. Humanism, the definition, means to serve the common interest of fellow humans. Integrity means adherence to the moral and ethical principles, honesty, reliability, consistency in words and acts, and a sense of responsibility. UAJY supports diverse values, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, and languages as a university with students from all across Indonesia. UAJY's diversity is an asset for further collaboration and synergy in preparing for a better future.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki 4 kampus yang terbagi menjadi Kampus 1, Gedung Santo Alfonsus. Kampus 2, Gedung Santo Thomas Aquinas. Kampus 3, Gedung Santo Bonaventura. Dan Kampus 4, Gedung Bunda Teresa. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta memiliki fakultas dengan berbagai program studi sarjana, program studi magister, dan international undergraduate program.
Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta is a second home for every individual to develop and share information, and a university with a high-quality education to attain unlimited aspirations and accomplishments. To achieve the goals, UAJY provides classrooms with hybrid learning system, laboratories in each faculty as a room to explore, co-working space as a discussion room, medical personnel who are always available in the university clinic room, and a library that provide books, e-books, and digital libraries to open a wide window onto the world in various ways.
UAJY selalu konsisten memberikan pelayanan yang didasari rasa solidaritas kepada sesama. Selama saya bekerja di UAJY, saya merasakan kekeluargaan yang sangat kuat menjadi dasar bagi seluruh sivitas akademika.
UAJY endeavors to develop graduates who are ethical, creative, innovative, adaptive, transformational, collaborative, and benevolent. All these are aimed to help students achieve their future dreams.
Mendidik itu mengajarkan ilmu pengetahuan dan berbela rasa serta berkontribusi pada kesejahteraan masyarakat. Hal tersebut menjadi landasan fundamental bagi Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta untuk mencetak generasi muda yang unggul di bidangnya dan memiliki integritas moral yang tinggi. Saya bangga menjadi bagian dari Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Viva UAJY, kami bangga ada di sini.
Selamat datang di Gedung Slamet Riyadi, Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta. Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta dengan bangga menjadi tuan rumah Lomba Debat Indonesia tahun 2025. Ajang yang mempertemukan para pemikir muda terbaik dari SMA seluruh Indonesia. Di sini, gagasan diuji, keberanian diuji, dan logika dipertajam. Kompetisi ini bukan hanya tentang menang, tetapi tentang bagaimana setiap peserta menyuarakan masa depan. Dari Sabang hingga Merauke, para delegasi hadir membawa semangat, budaya, dan harapan. Bersatu dalam satu panggung argumentasi terbesar untuk SMA di Indonesia. Selamat datang di Lomba Debat Indonesia